glad you sang the national anthem. You know what I mean? It was that great. Generally, I couldn't sing or dance. They put me in the infantry. One of those things. But the chaplain spoke about peace and unity, and that's really what we're here about today, a peace carved out of war. I would just say, Ambassador Romualdez, hey, thanks for being here from Washington, D.C., a place both of us are quite happy to be out of, I think, today. Governor Meade, thank you for taking the time to be here, sir. We're honored by your presence. It sends quite a message to everyone in the room, and certainly one that I will carry with me when I go back to Washington. And to the senators who are here, the generals, the men and women of the mighty 90, I see you guys back there in the rear, the Manchu Command representatives from the 4th Battalion, 9th Infantry Regiment, and all the veterans, the Veteran Service Organizations, and of course, all the people of Wyoming in this great state. Thanks for joining us here on the outskirts of the magic city of the Plains, Cheyenne, a city reminiscent, I think, of America's rambunctious pioneering spirit, where ranchers and rail workers built up our young nation, and in a state where Native Americans are honored as citizens and many as veterans. Building up our nation continued. It's hard work and it's noble work, and it's never finished. We all need to do it. It needs all of us, and today we've come together. History teaches us that nations with allies thrive. With allies thrive. And it reminds us too, history reminds us that all wars end. In returning the bells of Balangiga to our ally and our friend, the Philippines, we pick up our generation's responsibility to deepen the respect between our peoples. Linking the Western people of the great state of Wyoming with people in Eastern Philippines. And by the way, Balangiga is only about 40 kilometers to crow flies from a town named for General MacArthur, right across the hills there. A reminder too, it doesn't start with us here, nor does it end with us here in terms of our friendship and respect. We return these bells with consideration of our present, but also with the utmost respect of our past, one of shared sacrifice as co-equal brothers in arms. For we in the U.S. military do not forget those who stood by our side when the chips were down. We do not forget the Filipino soldiers and people, the Philippine scouts, who fought with us, bled with us, and died with us in the dark days of World War II in the green hell of Bataan, on the rock we call Corregidor, on islands, and in landings from Leyte to Luzon. We do not forget our shared sacrifice in Korea, where in 1951 at Yultong, the Philippines 10th Battalion Combat Team, though surrounded, held their position against the communist Chinese onslaught, allowing the U.S. 3rd Infantry to escape the trap. We do not forget how the Filipino people organized doctors and nurses in Operation Brotherhood in Vietnam to support us. We recognize how the Philippines stand with us today in the fight against ISIS, against terrorism, a scourge that has struck them as well as our own country. In this world that is awash in change, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize 117 years of enduring friendship between our people and comradeship in some of the toughest fighting in our nation's history. Last Monday, we observed Veterans Day. We honored those who defended our experiment in democracy, what we call America, the ones who restored our freedom and that of the free world in World War II, including the Filipinos who paid dearly at our side. Today, we aid the future generations by ensuring allies stand together in a future that is ours to shape, and so persuade potential adversaries that it simply isn't worth it to gamble against Wyoming warriors who live by the cowboy code or their comrades in arms from the Philippines. Our proud veterans, dedicated members of the U.S.-Philippine Society, and all those of goodwill in both the Philippines and the United States who labored so many years for this moment, thank you.